Hey folks, to tell you about this 2022 quick tune-up reading that I'm offering here. I'm doing this now. I haven't done any kind of readings for several months since last year. I don't do them that often, but here, March 19th is the day I'm recording this. I'm going to be offering some limited 30-minute assessments, and these 30-minute assessments can really give a lot of information. They really pack a punch to read your chart, but also to connect it with the moving shifts that are happening in the sky. As you see in this graphic here, the nodes just changed. Rahu and Ketu just moved into this axis actually last week on March 16th. So that's going to be a big shift for everybody, particularly if you have any planets in Aries and Libra. That's a big shift for you. Also, we have a bunch of planets in Capricorn right now, but Saturn is going to be going back and forth between the signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. So again, this is going to remain a big focal point for this year. But then we also have Mars is moving throughout the year. By the time we get to the summer, Mars is going to be up here, joined Rahu, and then he's going to keep going. Jupiter is also going to change signs in about a month. From now, Jupiter will be in Pisces. Again, that'll be a great shift. So again, as it says here, I'm speaking for myself here, the old clunker leaking oil. Maybe this will help. I'm feeling like the old clunker these days as I get older. And you can go from this old clunker to this, I don't know, whatever the sports car is, this sort of metaphor. So again, you know, the best use of astrology is to know what's coming, to prepare for it, to know what the shifts are. So I'm not doing in-depth predictions, so don't get this reading if you're expecting like, hey, I'm thinking of moving. Where should I move? Or should I get married? Or how, what about my money? Well, I mean, you could ask about general things like what do finances look like, but no complicated thing like I'm thinking of this job or that job in this complicated scenario. This isn't a reading in that way. Okay. So don't ask me to make specific predictions like this of complicated things because that's not what the reading is. Okay. However, in fact, I think it's more important this kind of look because you're maybe very worried about some thing instead of asking me to make some specific prediction, which again is just fortune telling. You can tell me about the things, but then also let me explain what your karma is right now, because that's really what's going on. You're all worried about some specific thing, but there's a larger issue. That's what I would talk about. I don't need you to run on for 2 hours about every situation in your life or expect me to make some hairline prediction. So I'm just saying this so that you understand. So there's no misunderstanding because I'm going to refund those. I'm not going to do them because that's not what I'm doing. It's a half hour of me looking at your chart, looking at the dashas right now, what's really coming up for you right now, and over the next several months, the rest of this year, whatever the cycle is that is shown. Again, you can let me know things that are coming up in your life, but don't ask me to make specific predictions like when should I do this? Where should I move? What should I do with this specific thing? Because that requires a more in-depth look and it requires a conversation. And because that's not what this is a recording, it's inappropriate. Okay. So again, understand it's 30 minutes based on what I just told you. Okay. 30 minutes based on what I just told you. Okay. So again, keep it appropriate in that way. Don't say, here's everything that's ever happened to me in my life. Here's every scenario that's happening. One of the things is I'm going to read the note at the beginning. So if you write a novel, I might spend 10 or 15 minutes reading your note. So please keep this in perspective. And I'm sorry to have to say this much about it, but you'd be surprised how many people just lose perspective. So don't lose perspective. If you want help right now, that's what this is. And it can be very good help for you to understand what's going on, especially in the midst of all of these shifts that are happening, right? And let me do my work and help you with it, okay? So again, this could be very helpful, very beneficial, especially for the next several months. Don't, lose your mind over it and expect, 30 minutes, Sam's going to tell me every single thing I could possibly, wonder about. All right. So anyway, this is the way I use astrology, by the way. I look at my, I know my general tendencies. I know what my doshas are. And then I look and see where the planets are moving. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do for you exactly what I do in my life with astrology. I don't use astrology to obsess over every single thing that's going on, because the bottom line is, and the point of the matter is, with the stuff that I tell you, if you do those things and you understand those things, that's going to be the most important part anyway. Because usually what happens is we're so worried and attached to some external situation that we're not thinking clearly anyway. So this is going to be a way for you to think clearly and then actually be able to use the astrology advice. Whereas if you just obsess over some specific scenario, even if I make a prediction or say something, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So keep all those things in mind, and go ahead and register. These readings go fast, and so expect or allow 2 weeks for this to be delivered.